MTN SME Hub. Link to growth, link to success, link to the ultimate resource for business advice and insights.
Welcome back to the Big Small Business Show. In studio with us today, we've got George Diab. He's the founder and CEO of Gas Accounting, and we're talking VAT. And we're talking about all the ins and outs of VAT. Before the break, we nearly got arrested. But we're safe now because now we're paying VAT, right? But we also have to talk about claiming VAT, the other side of that. So you spoke about in the previous section about the fact that we are agents of collection, so that's when we charge for it. But we can also get some VAT back.
Correct.
Okay, explain how that works.
So VAT works in two ways, right? You get your output VAT, and I know it's confusing for some people. The best way it was explained to me was from my first year tax lecturer, and the way she explained it was to say, when we're selling goods and services are going out of our business, and that's output VAT. And when we're buying goods and services, they're coming into our business, and that's input VAT. So we pay output and we claim input VAT. So that's typically how the two would work.
Okay.
In order to claim input VAT, we need it to be a valid tax invoice. And SARS is actually quite strict on this. So they've got on their website, or there's many websites, if you just go to Google, what are the requirements of a valid tax invoice? It needs to be, firstly, sequentially numbered invoice, and it needs to be dated. It has to have the words tax invoice on it. It's got to have the supplier's name, address, and their VAT number, as well as the vendor, which is our name, address, and VAT number. It's got to have a full description of the goods and the quantity thereof, as well as the tax amount.
Can it be handwritten?
It could be handwritten, that's perfect. So long as it's got all those characteristics, that is 100% a valid tax invoice. Now, in order to claim any input VAT, we have to have a valid tax invoice in order to do so. And if we do 100%, we can go ahead and do the VAT claim.
Now, what happens now? I ask you for a VAT invoice, and you give me a false number.
A false number?
Yes, you don't give me a real VAT number, right?
Oh,
because you charge me VAT,
yeah,
right? But you're just charging it. You're not really VAT registered.
Okay.
So you charge me now,
yes,
and you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever your VAT number is.
Yeah.
And there is not one. And now I'm going to go and claim that as an input VAT.
Yes.
So
yes,
who's liable now? Whose problem is it?
Oh, Allon, I think that's quite a tough question. So I had a chat with the commissioner, the SARS commissioner, Edward Keys, Weta the other evening. We attended a function together, and the amount of fraud that is happening in VAT at the moment is terrifying. It's scary. So SARS understands this, and they've upped their game. VAT is probably one of those departments within SARS that is really, really active and engaging with taxpayers to ensure that the levels of VAT fraud are reduced. What would happen if I give you a fictitious invoice and charge you VAT on that? That would be VAT fraud.
But you would go to jail, right?
I would go to jail.
But I didn't know, and now I've claimed it back.
SARS may go and disallow that input VAT claim on your side, purely because it is not a valid tax invoice. So I give you an invoice. You can go on SARS's website to check and verify my vendor number. And it would come up that it would be a fictitious or false vendor number. You would not be able to claim that.
Okay, so explain that. So I can go check VAT numbers.
You could go check VAT numbers.
Okay,
correct.
So where do I go to? What website?
On the SARS website. I'm not actually exactly sure where.
what the website, but on the SARS website.
On the SARS website. And you could verify the VAT number on that website.
You just type it in, and it'll give you the name of who the vendor is.
It would give you the name of the vendor, correct?
Okay,
yes.
So there's a check.
Yes.
Okay, when I register my company, I register VAT on the SARS website. Where do I register?
How would you go about registering for VAT?
Yeah.
Yes, so it is done on the SARS website. SARS has made it fairly easy for you to get a VAT registration. You would need a bank account. You would need to meet the minimum threshold for voluntary registration, which is 50,000 rands worth of taxable supplies. And then that registration is done directly through the website. It is a fairly straightforward process, but what we found is you have to have all your documents in place. And they do request certified documents of your ID, of proof of residence. And like I said, with all the amount of VAT fraud that's going on, SARS is vetting applications very strictly. If you are missing any documents, SARS will reject your VAT application. And what that means is it's just going to be delayed. It could take 21 days, then you reapply, another 21 days. So possibly the easiest way to do it is to consult with your accountant or registered tax practitioner and get them to do the application on your behalf, because this is their bread and butter. They do it every single day. Whereas if you do it yourself, it might take a little bit longer if you are missing any information.
Let's come back to you mentioned before that there's some VAT exempt goods.
Yes, correct.
So just name a few that might be common in business.
There's 3 different VAT rates, or there's a couple, but 3 of the common ones. The first is standard rated supply, which is your common 15% on taxable items. The second, and that's just swimming lessons, selling a glass, selling services or time. That's standard rated supply. The next is your zero rated goods. So that is VAT is charged, but at 0%. And that would be on items like petrol, bread, maize meal, milk, exported services. There is VAT, but the VAT is subject to 0% tax. And then you get exempt goods such as residential property, transportation of individuals or natural persons. Another exempt supply is interest that you earn from a bank. There is no VAT on those exempt supplies.
Okay. We're going to take a break now, but when we come back, I also want to ask you on export as well. I didn't quite get what you meant by there is VAT, but it's zero rated. So let's take a break now, and then I'll be elucidated by George Diab.
MTN SME Hub, link to business success.